together shortly after 4, because I didn't want him to find out, via social media. But it's tough. I mean, obviously these are hard jobs. They're difficult times. This has not been a great season. 2022 has been challenging on a lot of levels, and this is tough. I mean, we love Al, and as I told the group, every one of us in that room is in there for some reason or another because Al, said so. And the longer tenured guys, Miggy and Candy's been here a long time. Scopes re-signed here. Guys have been drafted here. It hits you. Obviously I came here, coaching staff. Those of us that played here. I was here when I got traded here as a player. Ramon Santiago on my staff was here as a player. So obviously it's tough.
How surprised were you by the news?
Well, I mean, our focus is always on the field, so I don't know that's even fair. I think surprise or not, I think in this business, I'm not naive to know that stretches like this and seasons like this create a lot of questions. And Chris has been very upfront with me today when he came down to my office, and what his expectations are. So. But you never think that. You never think that way. You never wonder. You never dig on stuff like change, because you got a full-time job yourself. I mean, we got an organization that now needs to refine itself, obviously, because of the massive change at the top. But our job better be to stick to the day-to-day on what we do well.
Did you have the support you needed for
Al was great to me. He was the first person that called me and wanted me to come in for an interview. And at a time where, I was on the outside of the sport looking in, that meant the world to me. So that support is more than any support, a man's ever going to need. And obviously we worked, tirelessly to try to move the ball forward and get the organization going forward. Last year we had a little bit more momentum. This year we've hit a roadblock, but Al and I communicated effectively. We interacted a ton. We bounced everything off each other. We had our, as every GM and manager will have their agreements, they'll have their disagreements. It's the nature of the relationship, but I felt Al gave me his best.
How does this interim now? You have a couple months where you want to do things, see different guys.
Yeah.
Process, is it maybe stickier now, or is it just Sam kind of steps in and?
Yeah, no, I mean, Sam was involved day to day on all decisions before. I mean, I guess if there's huge disagreement, we'll go, all the way to Chris. If we have, some sort of thing, something that comes up that we need, a definitive decision maker. But we've tried to make collaborative decisions on sending guys up, sending guys down, moves that are made. I mean, obviously this time of year, there's not as much involved other than transactions that go up and down throughout the market, activating guys and optioning guys, or I guess there'll be some curiosities on whether we purchase contracts on a couple guys, some minor league guys that we want to take looks at. But that'll be done collaboratively from what Chris has asked us to do. And Sam and I have talked as much as I talk to any GM or assistant GM that I've worked with. So I don't really anticipate any hiccup in the operation, because we'll all work together well.
Chris talked about having you be a part of the search process and finding a new GM.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like this organization needs to be?
I mean, Chris asked me about that today and talked to me about it. And, obviously this organization's committed a ton to me and vice versa. And I want to help get it right. I mean, I today is another reminder that we haven't succeeded. I mean, the deadline was one when you trade guys away and don't add to your team. The record reflects where we're at. And so we all feel responsible for where we're at in this organization. And I said at the All-Star break, I felt like, we need to push the ball forward and move in a direction, more aggressively. I didn't anticipate the personnel change, but I do think there's a lot of areas that we can address, and then we will address once we get our leader in charge.
Questions probably going to come up, so do you have any interest in becoming a GM?
No, I'm the manager. Yeah, plan on being the manager.
You mentioned how this is a tough
Well, could it be both? You know, I mean, I think that it has to be. I mean, we don't make these change and then want to still kind of relive where we've been in the past. I mean, today's, a big challenge for the organization, and Chris has made it well known that he wants change and he wants progress. And so you have your personal feelings when you work with somebody so close, and then you have the realistic, sports business where you need to move things more in a positive direction, and look at yourself, look at others, and make the place better. I mean, so you can have empathy and also have energy in trying to find solutions. That's what we're here for. So our day-to-day has to be the same. That's why I told the players. I mean, we have a game to play tonight. The guys will be fine. I'll be fine. Al's fine. I talked to him. It's in some ways baseball forgets pretty quickly. Man, you get going and you have the next game and you go on and move on. And but I've been in that chair. I've been fired and watched my team play the very next day on TV, and it's different. Al and I were talking about it earlier. It's everything's different, and so it's the first day towards the future, and kind of don't want to necessarily relive the past over and over again. It's time to start fresh. What's that? Yeah, so Bo was a transaction today to go on the 60-day IL. With the bicep tendonitis that he has, we're gonna shut him down for up to 2 weeks, and then start a throwing program, which is going to take 2 to 3, up to 4 weeks. And you start to get to the early part of September. Now you have this little week in that. Was he going to be able to pitch around the September 10th, 11th, 12th, or was he going to? His 60-day IL date, I think, is like the 15th or 16th. So we decided to be very conservative with that plan and not lose another player off the 40-man and be smart with Bo. He's reached his career high in innings. We'd still like him to pitch again if all this resolves itself in the next month. But by doing this, we don't just every day ask him how he's feeling and what we can progress. We have a definitive date that he can't come back until, and we can make decisions accordingly.
Nothing more troubling, I guess. That was the purpose of the question.
No. Quite honestly, I think it's the other way. I think right now it's all positive. It's hard to stay positive with the pitching injuries that we've had, but for the information that we have right now, we feel this is the best route.
And when you were interviewed for this job, it's like any of us that could apply for new jobs and kind of make a pitch of why this is a desirable place.
Yeah.
So for somebody who may come in and look at this situation, where it is with this young core or whatever, or maybe they look at the wins and losses, what do you think is attractive about taking over leadership of baseball?
Yeah, this is a good place. Detroit Tigers organization's a good place. We have a ton of opportunity. I mean, I feel like I'm going to give a speech on trying to recruit somebody over the TV, but this is the same place that was attractive a couple of years ago when I came here, and obviously the players, the fan base, the commitment from ownership, the opportunity to build kind of your own brand here with the fresh start. I mean, there's hopefully they like a manager in place. I mean, there's a lot to feature here, and to be a Detroit Tiger matters. Like, it's not just taking over a record this season or last season, and whoever it is. I mean, unless it's somebody internal, will come with no baggage from the last 2 years when I've been here, or the 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, however long it's been, and that to me is a blank slate to create the opportunity that this city deserves.
You guys did make good progress last season.
Mm-hmm.
This season, and maybe this decision, affected your faith or impacted your faith in where this team might be going?
No, not at all. I think actually, if we could have just had the team that we expected to have at the beginning of the season, I would have liked to take that momentum into the season. We didn't from the very get-go, and then things just progressively got worse throughout the season. And there's two ways of this. There's the injuries and some underperformance, and they both coincided. So you can't really blame one or the other. It's all excuses until you change your behavior and play better. So but my faith has never been and it never wavered. I mean, this is a really good place with really good players. We've got a lot of work to do to get it to where we need to get to, but we might not get there tomorrow, but I think we're going to get there because of the foundation we have now. And we're going to have to do it to prove to people, because I don't think there's going to be too many people racing out to project us to take this leap forward. But again, we're going to have a new leader. We're going to have a new vision. We have a committed owner. We have some pieces in place that I think are going to be better in the coming months, into the coming years, and then we got to go play the games and prove it.
AJ, how, if at all, does this affect your guys' evaluation process and players down the stretch? I mean, you don't know who's going to be upstairs in the design process.
Yeah, well, I think for those of us that are here, we're it's going to be business as usual. I mean, we're going to do the same things. I'm not going to ease off certain evaluations just because I can't tell my future boss until I have a future boss. But there's going to be a download for some people, whoever's added to the organization, or if somebody internal gets the job. It's a constant. Like, this is a 365-day job, so this isn't one that you just turn on and turn off, whether you have a perfect structure in place or whether you're in season, off season. At least it's how I operate. It's 365 days. So for me, it doesn't change a ton. It still focuses on today. I'll participate in whatever Chris would like me to make this organization better. And, my job is still to try to beat the Guardians tonight. And I've got to get these guys back to playing better baseball before the end of the year, so we can kind of rid ourselves of this bad taste we have in our mouth. Yeah. Oh, man, it's an incredible story for him. And, we talk about wanting guys to earn it. He's done it. I mean, just look at the back of the baseball card. You look at what he's done to go from starting out repeating AA to push his way to AAA, and then continue to perform and continue to hit. I mean, it's a cool story. I mean, when you sign as a late round draft pick like he did, the road, they don't pave that road the same as they do for maybe higher draft picks. Like, it's hard to get to the big leagues. And so to see him persevere and do that, and I talked to him today. He and I already have a special little bond. He lost his father a couple of years ago. I lost my dad at 18, and neither of our fathers are going to get to see a major league debut. But that doesn't mean he's not proud. So I'm rooting hard for this kid, especially tonight. His family's going to be here. His friends are here. And it means something to everybody. But for those that didn't have it paved perfectly, it's pretty cool.